Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for our review of the Sonic movie, well, the sequel to the Sonic movie, the second one, which just recently...
Even though we didn't review the first one.
Well, that was years... We didn't have a channel back then.
Oh yeah!
That came out early...
Somehow I forget how far back that first movie was.
That was... The first one was Valentine's Day 2020.
That's right.
Yes.
It was 2020, so it was before I had a relationship.
It was it was also just before everything changed, so yeah. But anyway, we're talking about the second Sonic movie already. But so yeah, man, it has been a while since we've watched
I know. When the movie was starting, I randomly thought to myself, I hope I remember enough of the first one.
I don't think either of us have rewatched the first movie.
We never rewatched it since. Like, there were questions that popped into my head of like something that would be answered if I remembered the first one better. So one thing I was thinking about was...
Before we get into general plot points, let's just talk in a general sense. That way I can maybe segregate this review if possible. I'll try.
Okay.
But yeah, so... All in all, I've already said this, but I'm going to say it now. I think I enjoyed this way more than the first one.
You know what? Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it. It had, although there were two scenes I absolutely didn't care for in the middle, I think it had way more action. And, you know, because now we've established our villains and now we've got more characters, I feel like they balance the characters better as well. Or except for maybe a little bit in the middle too, they didn't focus too much on the human characters, which was a common complaint of the first movie, is too much focus on the human characters. Which, to be fair, in the first movie, you only really had Sonic and Robotnik.
Well, I actually was gonna say this movie had a bit too much of the humans. Or
I agree.
In particular,
there was a few scenes which did have too many of the humans.
I wasn't enjoying when it dragged on that bit with the
we'll get to that in a
bride.
Minute. Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, there was a few scenes with the humans I didn't care for, but the rest, when they weren't on screen, you felt like, yeah, we're focusing mostly on Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Robotnik. And when it was just those four main characters, it was a really good movie.
Yeah, I feel like, you know,
That's why I got super excited at the beginning when they quickly went off to Hawaii. I'm thinking, oh my god, are they going to be out of the movie for most of it?
Yeah, and I liked when he saved him with the ring. I thought that's a good way to bring back his human friends.
Yeah.
Maybe just for a moment is what I was thinking at the time. Like, okay, that's cool. He's got a ring. He can save him.
So yeah, we'll talk about, okay, let's talk about the two things that we didn't like, the two scenes we hated the most.
Who's we? I don't know which scenes you hated.
Okay, I think you can probably agree with me these are the two weakest scenes. The wedding and kidnapping scene, and of course the random Siberian bar scene.
I liked the dancing because it was progression in their friendship.
No, okay, I agree there, and I only thought about this just recently, it's clever unintentional foreshadowing. Because in that dance scene, Tails uses a thing where he creates a bunch of copies of himself, and that's a plot point later in the big fight.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what, I don't mind it, but I do think it drags on.
Tails is the cutest and their relationship is amazing.
Yes. Talking about... But yeah, I'll get back to... Can we structure this review properly for once? I know that's a difficult plot.
One thing I really want to address.
Okay.
So at the start, when he sends him to Hawaii, a thought popped into my head, and maybe it's because I don't remember the first one that well, because the rings were a major plot point in the first one. Surely he would have a limited
That's what
number
I was thinking
them.
too.
And I was thinking, you're just handing them willy-nilly to use.
There's an even weirder point, though.
And then later on, he drops all the ones he has. That's why he needs his friend at the wedding to use the only one left.
But then there's a couple points
But then later on, the plane flies through one. And that made me wonder, are they single-use? Or did he reuse the only one left that they used at the wedding?
I think they were single use, because he used this one to take them Hawaii, then he gives him one that says use this to get back.
But then how he dropped all of his...
Maybe they went back to Siberia and buried in the snow?
Unless he keeps some in a separate place for emergency and he wasn't carrying all of them, but
maybe he didn't drop all of them. It wasn't super specific, so still, I agree. I was confused too. I thought, oh shit, he's dropped all the rings, which would make sense. And yeah, he had to have dropped them all because that would explain the plot point of why he needed to use that one, which then had that silly gag that went on to way too long. And then they bring back the government people
And then the government people just happen to be the people at the wedding?
I didn't care for that plot point at all. It went nowhere. It's like the government people are here.
Wait,
and then
but if
kidnaps...
the groom is one of the government guys, why would he agree to have his wedding in Hawaii? Wouldn't he want to keep the wedding in their hometown to be close to Sonic?
I don't know. That was the dumbest plot point. Yeah, like I said, we're talking about the two dumbest plot points, or even the one. That was the main one. Like,
yeah, and the Angry Bride it dragged on a bit too much, but I liked seeing the other woman, like, go in and...
But it still felt like an unnecessary... It's like, did we need the kidnapping scene? Like, this movie was long enough. At first I was worried it was going to...
I was worried Tails was going to sleep too long.
I was too, but I think they were fine, because also having him asleep was fine, because you need Sonic to be separate, and then Tails can come be a savior.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get why they did that. Yeah. So, but yeah, getting into the characters themselves, obviously, Robotnik is still Robotnik, and he's still amazing, and, obviously he's even more of a good villain than he was in the first movie. It was mainly because he even feels more like Robotnik you're familiar, which is saying something because both of us are only very vaguely familiar with Sonic.
Yeah, we don't really play Sonic.
I mean, I've played stuff. I live on the internet, so I know stuff. So it's not that big of a shock. But I do. But I love how they try to, when they can't get it point for point accurate, they try as many ways to kind of go around it. It's like okay, they're not going to put Jim Carrey in a fat suit. So what did you do? They make the giant robot be nice and round like Robotnik.
Oh, yeah.
I liked how, the robot at the very end looks exactly like the more cartoonish one you're familiar with from games and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, it's sort of like how in the first movie, he looks almost like a perfectly normal person, except until the very end when he's bald. So it's sort of like, they keep building up to things to try and make it a bit more and more accurate. And I love, there's lots of little Easter eggs like that. And then obviously, as you may well, and then this is something which is...
And then Robotnik gets interesting because he's got Knuckles to talk to as well.
Exactly, now that you've got two kind of side villains. I will say, I mean, let's face it, anyone who was 5 years old, we obviously, if you haven't said it already, we're starting to spoil plot points. We won't spoil one plot point at the end, but yeah. But anyone who's over 5 years old obviously saw the, the betrayal coming. Yeah, but I mean, it was set up decently, and, it was great to have their dynamic together. It was a great villain and anti-hero dynamic very well, which is fine, because, most people, Knuckles is... From what I've read, they kind of combine the plots of the second and third game. From what I've read, the second Sonic game introduces Tails and the Chaos Emeralds, and then the third one introduces Knuckles as an enemy.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they kind of just mash them together.
Yeah, so about Knuckles, what I want to say is, if you had asked me a few years ago, like with a picture of all Sonic characters saying, point out which are good guys, which are bad guys, I may have called Knuckles a good guy years ago because I don't have much knowledge.
I mean, you're not wrong, like I said.
But my theory, seeing this movie, is that maybe in early games Knuckles was a bad guy, and then later on he's a friend, sort of like DK.
I was going to say, it's also a bit more like, you know what it is like? It's like the original Crash 4. It's like Crunch.
Oh, yeah, Crunch used to be a bad guy.
In his Inception game, he was supposed to be in more power. It's very much like that, except this came first. I mean, like I said, as far as from what I've read, the third Sonic game, Knuckles was the enemy, and then I guess at some point they formed a team. Yeah, I do love, there's a lot of points, especially near the end, they love doing those freeze frame shots where it's something that 90% of people are never going to notice. But there's a lot of shots where you think, oh, this looks like just like this screenshot from certain games. Like when they're all three together, it's like the posters from like Sonic Heroes or not the... the posters we've been seeing a lot on the buses with the ring aren't the iconic one, but there is one poster I saw which looks almost point for point exactly like the box art for Sonic 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember the
Yeah.
box art, but...
Yeah, and speaking of box
But-
art, there was a cool cameo when, like, did you notice that bit where he's like, I read the manual and it looks like a
Oh,
Genesis
yeah.
cover?
And I do want to compliment the the art and stuff, because similar to compliments people would give to Detective Pikachu, there's moments like when somebody gets wet or something and it just looks amazing.
I mean, that was the case for the first game too.
When Sonic and Knuckles were on the beach and they had
the
sand in their fur. And
that was really
beautiful.
good. I mean, like I said, we're rarely ones to hype on graphics, but that was I was watching. It's like, damn, that's some good fur.
Yeah,
That's some good fur.
Yeah.
So and then like we said, you've got Tails, who it's what's known as a late arrival spoiler, because Tails with the after credit scene in the first movie. But let's face it, by the time they promote the second movie, Tails is on every poster. So
yeah, everyone knows him. Yeah, he came
although
pretty early.
that doesn't really spoil the fact that he was a post-credit scene, and he is introduced organically into the movie anyway. So it's not like a
Yeah. But I think
But
they
like we
pretty
said,
much
Tails is
reused...
absolutely freaking adorable.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting that, for some characters like Sonic and Knuckles and whatever, they bring in celebrity voices. But for Tails, they're using somebody who has often played Tails.
Yeah.
It's
Tails
interesting
got
for-
his real voice.
Yeah, and whereas, say, Knuckles and Sonic have celebrity voices. Not that there's anything wrong with Sonic or Knuckles' voice, by the way, but it's just interesting they chose to go with that. Which, again, Tails is freaking adorable this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the dynamic between Sonic and Tails, because Sonic's all trying to be a hero, and Tails looks up to him. He wants to place himself as the techie side guy, but Sonic wants him to join in and help, and he does, and it's great.
Yeah.
And in the end, we need all of their individual talents. Like, people who play the games know you need Tails to fly.
Exactly. So, it's great to see them all being utilized. And then,
It's just one of those little messages of, like, what makes you different is what makes you special. Because he
of course.
mentions that he used to get made fun of for his two tails.
I guess. Which, that's a good point. It's like, so, just like... Because that's a thing you've never seen before, is like when we get a flashback to Knuckles' past, you see a bunch of other red echidnas. And I've never in my life in any Sonic game, show or whatever, seen any other blue hedgehogs or yellow foxes.
Yeah.
But now we see a bunch of red
Did their
echidnas.
family look exactly like them?
So wait, is there a world where there's a bunch of other yellow foxes but they don't have two tails?
I want to see Tails Land.
That would be adorable. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tails is the only one who doesn't get their past seen.
That's true.
We get flashbacks of
That's true.
Knuckles talks to his dad, and we got a flashback.
They tie in like opening scenes from the first movie very well.
Yeah, we saw little Sonic for a moment.
Yeah, because they were tying in scenes from
of
what
the
happened.
owl.
Yeah, but now you see it from Knuckles' perspective and you kind of tie things together. And then, but I really like the opening, but like I said, then you get to the opening scene of like, we're establishing where our characters are and what Sonic's been up to and he's playing hero and...
Yeah, he's basically trying to be the Flash.
It's like, I made the joke, it's like, who cares about the upcoming Flash movie? It's like when people make jokes that The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie. It's like, this is the best Flash movie. I mean, think about it. In the first movie, we were making jokes because, like, there's a scene in the first movie where, like, Robotnik makes a tornado and Sonic runs around it. And now there's a scene in the open... It's a small scene, but there's a scene of him stopping crime. And what does he do? He dismantles the truck while it's moving. It's just like the Flash.
Yeah, I swear, either it's a stupid coincidence or they have watched The Flash.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them for doing it. It's like... I said this in the first movie... And granted, I'm not a Sonic expert, but, I've always just known Sonic to run fast, but just like in the first movie, I'm going to bring it up because I didn't really review the first movie, is there ever a Sonic game or TV show that makes Sonic more like a speedster, if you will, because sometimes he feels like not just this fast person, but like a speedster because he generates electricity. I mean, it's a plot point in the first movie.
Yeah, like, and at the beginning with Robotnik with the quill.
Yeah. Well, that was a leftover plot from the first movie too. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, they tie in, they really do tie in everything from the first movie really well, but I feel like because there's way less scenes focusing on the humans, although there were a few silly scenes, it feels much better. It's like, we don't want the humans, we want Sonic, we want Tails, we want Knuckles. The only human we want is Robotnik. Yeah. And then, and again, getting into more spoilery territory, then you get the climax near the end, which again, so much... I feel like it had... Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of action in the first movie. I feel like there was way better action in this movie.
Yeah, but the problem I have is the Chaos Emerald, and how does it work? They make it out to
that's
be
a good point.
all-powerful Spear of Destiny. The way he explains it,
In the
his
beginning,
wording was...
Sorry, in the garage scene, there's this scene where they talk about it and they explain what it can do, and it's like, your thoughts will become reality, and it's like, Spear of Destiny, we joked. But then later on, when Robotnik gets it, he just kind of... He can do a lot of things and he causes destruction. And don't get me wrong, it makes him super powerful.
He makes a robot, but then when he sees Sonic coming, why doesn't he just think, Sonic's dead? That's a thought that would become reality.
Oh, well.
But they don't explain the rules of this thing.
That's true.
And then when Sonic gets it, it breaks, but then the little ones inside it make him get the smash ball.
Okay, so this is one complaint about the movie, and it's like, it's almost turning it to Harry Potter where you need, and I always say, you don't want a movie to require the source material, is, like, I wasn't that surprised at what happened when they turned into 7 Chaos Emeralds and you get Supersonic. But let's pretend you're somebody who's way more casual than we are, who hasn't watched other Sonic material, hasn't played other Sonic games, etc., and doesn't exist on the internet.
Yeah.
If you're just going off these 2 movies, there's no foreshadowing or setup for how Supersonic works or the 7 Chaos Emeralds breaking into...
Yeah, they didn't explain much about the 7 little ones that were built inside the big one.
Well, no, because that was the Master Emerald, not the Chaos Emerald. Then it broke into the 7
Chaos... the little ones are Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, then it broke and then it turns into Supersonic. It was a really freaking cool scene, and
then Knuckles
I was bouncing off my chair.
Puts it back together.
I guess after it's being used, it goes back to being a normal one, and then he can use it again, but they decide to keep it, which, I know it's an all-powerful object, but can you destroy it? I know we always say, can you throw it in a volcano?
Yeah.
But those are minor nitpicks to some extent. But, I mean, like you said, it's a case of you can nitpick a scene, but in the moment when he became Supersonic, I was bouncing off my chair. It was so fucking cool. That was so cool.
As soon as I saw the 7 little ones... Because I think when you get the Smash Ball, you do see them for a second.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, all right, it's the Smash Ball. That's what I know it as.
Yeah, because you really need... That's the thing. I know what Sonic is. I don't need to play Smash to know how Sonic works. But yeah, that was really cool.
I've played some Sonic games a little, but not enough to have seen the Supersonic thing in a game.
Now, I mean... Maybe some people enjoy this, and it's a kids-ish movie, so I don't mind a comedy, but I feel like sometimes they push the comedy slightly too much, particularly, because obviously, Knuckles is from Off-World, he's no human stuff. They do the little rule-minded thing, which, don't get me wrong, we like that, but I feel like sometimes they did it a little too much with Knuckles.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. There were a couple scenes where I felt...
the baseball lines.
Oh, no, I didn't mind the ending, but, there are a few lines here and there, I'm like, well, can we not drag the scene with comedy a bit too much? But, yeah, and like I said, but every character was great, and it's like we already complimented Robotnik as a villain, but when he becomes omnipotent and he just teleports in his electric, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, but what you just said about Knuckles, I will also say about Robotnik is... sometimes his cool lines can be a bit too much. Or actually, there was one moment where it was when they got to the place where the emerald was, and he was monologuing, and I'm just thinking, Sonic, why don't you just go around him and, take it? He was just standing there talking for a moment. I
do like the part where, I think it was later, where it really shows that Sonic can run fast, but unless he wants to be super fast, he has to kind of stand and charge up, because he's not a generic speedster. He can't just do it at any second.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I was thinking in that Russian scene where they're like, oh, it's just over there on that table. It's like, can't you just speedster and go grab it? But no, I guess if he wants to go super fast, he kind of has to charge up for a bit.
Yeah.
But
it's like in the game, you don't go really fast right away. You can like go past things that make you faster.
Well, no, yeah, because you can kind of
build up speed and go around.
You can start running, or you can kind of do the ball and charge thing, which I suppose is what the movie does. Rather than doing a ball and charge, he just kind of stands in place and charges.
Yeah. Like before he ran on water.
Exactly. But yeah. But, I do think most things in the movie were set up pretty well. But, yeah. And, there's no real... I will say there is... it's still a kid's movie, so don't expect any crazy plot twists. And pretty much everything I expected to happen happened, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Yeah, there wasn't really much of a plot twist, if you can call it that. I mean... We all knew Robotnik was going to betray Knuckles and he wanted it for himself. We all knew that.
Yeah, and it's like, that's why we're pretty much not talking... The only thing we're not talking about is, spoiler, there is an after-credit scene, but we're not talking about what's in it.
And I did like the part where they nearly drowned and, like, first he saves Knuckles, but then he can't swim up quickly enough and Knuckles saves him.
Yeah.
Knuckles said it was just, fair's fair, but it was nice to see that Knuckles also would not let Sonic die.
Yeah, I know, that was great. Yeah, but that's the thing, I think I definitely enjoyed it way more than the first movie, mainly because it felt like more you're watching... it felt like I felt because there were more Sonic characters, it felt more like, the first movie just felt like, let's plop Sonic into human world. And even though the movie's still almost all in human world, it felt like we're watching a Sonic movie, not just put Sonic in human world.
Oh, yeah,
like
definitely.
so many other cheesy movies do. Yeah. That's why I enjoyed this one way more. Because even when we're still in human world, but there's a lot of things where, like, when we go to because now we find out, like, the temples and stuff are on Earth, it makes it feel a bit more special because it's not just generic human world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, I mean, all in all, I'm trying to think, was there anything else we missed? Because, I mean, there were scenes we said we didn't like. I really didn't care for the kidnapping and the wedding scenes. Like, I think that dragged on. You could have cut that, other than maybe having Tails Tails already knocked out from the snowboarding scene, but yeah. But hey, you'll get a lot of action scenes, and except for, I don't feel like there was any slow scenes. Like, even the scenes which I said I didn't like, they weren't slow either.
Yeah.
So, which is great. There was no real scenes that went too slow, and pretty much every character, there was never, no characters I utterly hated. It's like, even characters that I don't, all the actors do a great job. Even the side characters, like Robotnik's henchman is enjoyable. Like, everyone's there, and I'm enjoying them all being here. It's nice to see them again, and that's great.
You know what might have been a tiny bit of a twist if somebody, like maybe for somebody younger, is when he had the wrong ring, is because...
No, I knew that from...
I knew it too, when he was doing the magic trick with the kid.
The second I saw it, I was like, great, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But somebody younger might not have caught that.
Some of those things, if you're a little kid of Kill, some of these little small twists obviously will catch you off guard if you're a kid. But like I said, if you're a teenager or an adult...
That wasn't much of a problem anyway. You just run over there and take the ring. Sure, it messes up your friendships or whatever, but whatever.
It didn't, and then it didn't go anywhere anyway, but oh well. But you gotta have your comedy in there anyway for the more generic fans. It's like, I feel like that's the thing, I feel like those scenes are for the people who are either A, not big Sonic fans, or B, kind of the I like to call them the parents in the theaters, when you get dragged to a thing you're not particularly excited for, but it's like, it's, although most movies are good at doing this, is where even something like, I've seen obviously a lot of parents go to this movie with their kids, but they're not going to be watching it because it's a Sonic movie, but you could still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's those scenes I feel like the quote-unquote parents will enjoy more. But for us, it's, of course, we enjoy...
like, I'm sure there were plenty of parents at Detective Pikachu who took their kid thinking, oh, it's Pokemon, my kid will like it.
Yeah, but you'd still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I enjoyed Detective Pikachu, but I still say I enjoy this more than that too. Because
Yeah,
I feel like this felt more Sonic than that did Pokemon, and that had a lot of Pokemon in it.
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I see
And
what
I
you
think
mean.
it's because they're more colourful. No, I'm serious. Go watch Detective Pikachu. I feel like the colours don't pop as well in all the Pokemon. They kind of look all grey and dried out.
Okay.
Except for maybe in Pikachu, most of the other Pokemon look dried out, whereas like here, it's like Tails is bright orange, Knuckles is bright red. All the colours in the fictional stuff really pop out, and
Yeah.
yet they feel organic. You know, that you obviously everything's CGI, but you don't feel like you're watching CGI, which is good. I always get a little worried whenever somebody has to hug Sonic. It's like, oh, but no, they pulled that off pretty well. So good on you for CGI. And like I said, that sand was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the best detail, maybe not, I'm just saying a really cool detail, is that they made sure that the viewers know Tails has a name.
Oh
They
yeah,
say it at baseball.
I think that was the only time they used Tails' full name. The entire movie, they just call him Tails, except for at the very end.
Well, when he introduced himself at the start,
He just says, "I'm Tails."
No, maybe it was when you went to the bathroom, but he does explain that people call him
I'm
Tails.
not gonna
He
miss that.
does make it clear that it's more of a nickname.
Okay, when I only saw him drive up to the truck and say, "I'm your friend, I'm Tails," and then I skipped that next part because I hate movie theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, he does explain it's more of a nickname, and then at the end, like we said, baseball, they do make it clear he has a name.
Yeah.
Not only a first name, but a last name too, which means, do Sonic and Knuckles have last names? I don't think so.
Yeah, Hedgehog. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Knuckles the Echidna. Miles Tails Prowl.
Yeah, that's not how names work.
It is. Also, apparently, did you know Robotnik's first name is Ivo? I forgot that.
Oh, yeah.
I know it pops up in the first movie, which means he's Dr. Ivo.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, other than some scenes that dragged on with the humans a bit too much in the wedding, everything else was great because when you're focusing on all the other non-human characters, it's great. But yeah, this was supposed to be a quick review of the Sonic movie, but ended up getting a bit more in depth. But oh well. And
So, as we said, it is a bit open to another sequel. So, is there anything that you would like or them to do more in the next one?
I have one theory, but I don't want to say it because okay. I'm going to plot a graphic on screen right now. Use the screen preview on YouTube to skip ahead to when that graphic is gone and the spoiler is gone. Okay, so
we are going to talk about the credits scene.
As you know, the end credit scene shows Shadow, which is interesting because a few days before I saw this movie, I noticed on social media Jim Carrey was saying he's retiring from acting. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see.
That's why I was like, oh, what did he do for Sonic now? But now it's like, well, great, we'll just have Shadow be a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, well, that ties up. And, unlike the first movie where it's made clear he's alive, here it's like, I mean, I know we never saw a body, but also at the same time, there's no conclusive evidence that he is coming back either. So I guess if Jim Carrey is done, that might be the end of Robotnik.
And from what little I know about Sonic games, probably Shadow's just gonna want to get the Chaos Emerald.
I have no idea.
Chaos control.
I have no idea. Like, I remember watching a Sonic cartoon as a kid with Shadow, and for some reason the season ended with a cliffhanger with Shadow, and then it didn't come back. Or at least it didn't air more of it.
Look, I just know seeing him in that machine just reminded me of Mewtwo.
I mean, he's kind of like that. He is kind of artificially, from what I know, he's meant to be artificially created.
There we go, he's Mewtwo.
They also say, like, this project has been here for 50 years, but they only found out about Sonic recently.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm confused. Anyway, we're back to the picture is gone, so hopefully you managed to avoid that spoiler if you wanted to avoid that post-credit scene.
But ignoring that, something I would like in the next movie...
I will say, and this isn't a spoiler, it has been announced already there will be a third movie and Knuckles is getting his own TV show.
Okay, something I want is at least one female Sonic character, because I can think of at least 3 that I know of. Now, I don't know much about Sonic. I don't know much about their roles in the games. But there's Amy, the pink one, the purple one, Blaze, and the bunny.
Cream.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. If I wouldn't maybe like in the Knuckles TV show you could have some of the more extra characters start showing up if that's the case. Yeah.
Because we don't want to have a movie with all-male hero team, you know? We got Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles on the hero team, and we're probably going to have all-male villains again.
Are there any? I'm sure there are female villains in Sonic, but...
I've never heard of any. So it's probably going to be all-male villains, so can we have at least one female hero, please? The only females we had in this movie was
some of the annoying humans.
The bride and the other girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl that's friends with Sonic, and I think the bride was her sister or something.
Yeah. Well, she was in the first movie too.
Yeah. In the first movie, we got the guy and the girl, and and there was a little girl in it a little bit as well.
Yeah. I mean, she did have a bit in this movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, but still. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what's going on. I do like the fact that they're actually going to be having a lot of Sonic movies, or at least they're going to have another one in a Knuckles TV show and so on. So I'm glad they're building stuff on this. The only one criticism I've had, and maybe I haven't been paying attention, is when's the last time a Sonic game came out? I know Sonic Mania came out, but that was several years ago. Because think about this. You're the more general audience. You haven't played...
I know there's at least one on Switch.
But that's Sonic Mania, and that was years ago. Think about it.
Okay.
It's been years. Think about it. You haven't seen Sonic in years. You go to the movies. You think, oh, this is great. I should go look at Sonic these days. I pop on my new system. What Sonic games are available?
Well, I don't know its name, but there's this really cool one where you can make your own character. And I played it on somebody's PlayStation, but I don't know if we played it on their PS4 or PS5. I'm not sure because they had both at the time.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It is a really cool game. You get to make your own Sonic person. You can choose if they're a cat, a hedgehog, a rabbit, anything. And then you get to play the levels as your creation. Or there are some levels where you're forced to be Sonic. But anyway, it's really fun.
Great. Well, I think we've discussed this movie enough. This was meant to be a quick review. I was trying to be a bit spoiler-free and have a half section where it's very vague and then we get into plot points, but we couldn't resist, so...
Yeah.
Oh well, hopefully you're only watching this movie. I mean, look, there'll be plenty of spoiler-free reviews out there, so this is the one for the people who have seen it, which is fine. That's the thing. I've never liked the concept of spoiler-free reviews.
Yeah, we've always done reviews where we're yes, we're assuming you just watched it.
What more? I mean, me as a person, when I haven't watched something, I've never watched a review. Even if I know it's definitely spoiler-free, I don't go watching reviews.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not going to bother. So I don't mind if there's spoiler reviews because I would have seen it first. It's I wouldn't have watched any reviews of Sonic until after I'd seen it.
Well, there are some people out there who go and look for reviews to decide if they want to see something.
Well, it is also worth noting that I don't think it comes out I think it only just came out in America where it was out, or it's about to come out in America.
Okay.
We got it in Australia a week before America. So, depending if I get this review up quickly, it definitely will be difficult for people to watch it since Americans probably haven't seen the movie yet.
Okay.
Well... By the way, I'm going to find somebody on Twitter. Somebody posted what I thought was a real leak. Turned out to be a fake leak. And they had me so confused. And it was the perfect misdirection because they fake leaked a end credit scene, which is absolutely not the end credit scene.
Okay, you got to show me that later.
If I find it, I was oh, I'm being ruined. And then... Speaking of which, and I don't know if this premieres in where you are in the world or what theaters you go to, but when we went there, they had a anti-spoiler preview before the movie.
Oh yeah,
that was the best.
They had a thing where Sonic said, "Don't spoil it, please."
Well, at least we warned you we're spoiling it.
Yeah.
It's that's the best thing I've ever seen. I love you. It's also pretty strategic because they must know Australia's getting it way before the rest of the world.
Yeah, but I remember when Sonic was saying that, I remember thinking, oh, I know someone who posted photos on Instagram.
Brilliant.
They did put a spoiler warning. They said don't swipe to the next picture if you don't want to be spoiled.
That's fair. People who know how to very, very appropriately spoiler tag things, I'm okay with. People who have no clue how to do that,
Yeah, like on Instagram, if you swipe to the next picture, that's your own fault.
It's if you give a clear warning, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Or I've seen on Facebook people make use of the read more, like the
Oh yeah, they
spaces.
do that, yeah. Same with on YouTube in comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed that way more than the first movie, and I'm glad I did. There was only a couple bits I thought were dragging on or a bit too silly at times, but overall, way better than the first movie. I mean, I still love the first movie, but I think I enjoyed this way better.
Yeah.
Yes, don't get me wrong though, because I feel like that's the advantage. Like now that we've got, the first movie needed that to establish Sonic, but at the same time, it established stuff we didn't need, like the human characters. But I suppose what else could you do for the first movie? You didn't want to overload us with Sonic characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I suppose that's it.
Yeah.
Well, this turned out to be a longer review than I was expecting, and I'm going to have fun trying to edit a review of a movie that's barely just out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is more of just a podcast with some pictures on the screen. But anyway, we'll see you next time for more reviews and other things as well. See you next time, guys.